Hello and welcome back to the channel where we've been going over standard decks for Pokemon cards for beginners. Remember to subscribe and check the description of the video for the deck list for all the decks in this series so that you can use them yourself in Pokemon Live or in real life. Today's deck archetype is going to be Gardevoir EX, which is a archetype that has done very well since its introduction and for a multitude of reasons. Gardevoir EX has a great ability in Psychic Embrace, which allows you to attach psychic energy from your discard pile to your psychic Pokemon as much as you'd like to. The only caveat to this is you take 2 damage every time you attach an energy this way. But there's lots of different ways we can play with that. Kirlia is a great card for this deck because its Refinement ability allows you to discard cards from your hand to draw more cards. In this way, you can sacrifice or discard your psychic energy, setting yourself up for Gardevoir EX, and get new cards for your hand. This is going to be your great way to keep your hand full. The other Gardevoir in this deck, the Shining Arcana Gardevoir, allows you to look at the 2 top cards of your deck and then attach basic energy cards to your Pokemon in any way you like. Another way to energize, and that goes really well with its Brainwave attack, which increases in power the more psychic energy you have attached to Gardevoir. Finally, another key piece to this deck is Cresselia with its Moonglow reverse attack. For just 1 energy, you get to move 2 damage counters from each of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So, if you spread the damage out using Gardevoir EX, giving 20 damage to each of your Pokemon on your bench, and then using Moonglow reverse, you can do 120 damage with this while simultaneously healing your Pokemon. This group of cards together is a powerhouse and has actually won some major tournaments. So let's take a look at how it works in action. Mew EX, a card we didn't talk about, is actually an excellent starter for this deck. It has a great ability in Restart, where if you get below 3 cards in your hand, you can draw up to 3, and its own attack, Genome Hacking, allows you to take your opponent's attacks and use them against them, which is pretty awesome. However, because of the retreat cost of 0, it is ultimately the best starter because it has a lot of hit points, so it can take some hits early on and then retreat for free later. Here's Kirlia using Refinement. Kirlia is going to be what's keeping your hand full and lets you search your deck quickly using this Refinement. You can discard cards you don't need. In this case, I'll choose Gallade, and then we'll get 2 new cards in return. Doing this every turn is going to keep your hand fresh and also help you find all the cards you need to make sure that you are successful. Another great card that we didn't show off in that first little bit here is Old Cemetery, which punishes your opponent for playing energy that are not psychic energy. So if you're playing a deck that is not psychic themed, you can damage them and chip away at their hit points thanks to Old Cemetery. Now that we've done some setup, we can play Gardevoir. The Gardevoir with the Brainwave attack and Shining Arcana as its ability is one of the primary attackers in this deck, and that's because its strength increases the more psychic energy you have on your Gardevoir. So, with this in mind, you can pile energy onto a Gardevoir using Gardevoir EX or using its own Shining Arcana ability, and then hit for really big damage. As you see here, when we evolve this Kirlia into Gardevoir, we're going to utilize Shining Arcana right away, and that's going to help us move from 3 energies on Gardevoir to 6. 6 energies on Gardevoir is 240 damage, which is good to beat basic Pokemon EX, some second stage Pokemon EX, and a lot of Pokemon V that are still in the format that are used as support Pokemon like Lumineon V. So now Mew can retreat for free like we talked about earlier, and we can use Brainwave to knock out our opponent's Pokemon. What's great about Gardevoir is if you get enough energy on it, you can knock out technically anything, even pesky Pokemon like Charizard EX or other cards like that. Now let's see how Gardevoir EX works. We're going to use Ultra Ball here to get Gardevoir EX from our deck. And like I said earlier on, Gardevoir EX's ability lets us to take energy from the discard pile and attach it to our Psychic-type Pokemon. So in this case, we're going to use the ability to add our Psychic Energy to Gardevoir here, because we're going to want to have as much energy on it as possible so that we can take a big chunk out of this Charizard EX we're facing. Despite the fact that we do take some damage, it's okay. Gardevoir is a single prize Pokemon, so if it does get knocked out, it's only one prize lost. Like I said earlier, Cresselia's Moonglow Reverse is a great card to play mid-game when you've already spread some damage out using Gardevoir EX to do some decent damage, knocking out a single prize Pokemon, or finishing off a stronger one. Thanks so much for watching this video about the Gardevoir EX archetype. We're going to have one more deck that we're going to feature prior to the release of the next set. So, I hope you've been enjoying these videos, and subscribe for more. We'll see you again soon, trainers. Best of luck out there.